Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to XDefiant. I teased in yesterday's video that you'd be seeing an XDefiant video sooner rather than later, and the reason why we have it here today is because some bewildering news came out a couple of days ago, and I wanted to cover it here today because the games industry as a whole just makes no sense to me anymore. Like, am I just getting too old? Am I so out of date I just have no idea what's happening anymore? Because you look at everything that Activision's doing and has been doing over the course of the past couple of years, a lot of it just straight up doesn't make any sense. But then you have another company out there, Ubisoft, which is just as bad, possibly even worse sometimes when it comes to how they're handling their various IPs. You guys know XDefiant got shut down. Not 6 months after the game came out, they basically pulled the plug on it, despite the fact that we had so much content coming out, and they put out that massive content update where they basically just gave us everything that they were working on, like everything from like Season 2 and Season 3, all the maps, all the game modes, all the weapons, everything. It was so freaking good. They were definitely cooking up something special over on the XDefiant team, but unfortunately, Ubisoft did not back them up whatsoever. It seemed like, what I kept hearing anyway, was they were trying to devalue themselves because they were going to be selling, which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me either. Just, I have no freaking idea. But apparently, despite falling player numbers, XDefiant was still doing well enough to continue to get by. In fact, Mark Rubin said countless times that the reason why the game had no advertising whatsoever was because they wanted to make sure the game was in a better state before they put the real money into it to properly market the game and make sure it was a household name that everybody was at least aware of, right? It had kind of a cult following here on YouTube. I, of course, covered it a bunch because I was really excited about it. It was made by former COD developers, and the tenets of the game were so incredible. Fast-paced arcade action, free-to-play, along with no skill-based matchmaking on bright, colorful, beautiful maps. It was a freaking great idea, though unfortunately, they kept having to rush the game out. It was never quite ready. We had to wait a very long time in between updates. Like, the history of XDefiant is something that really needs to be studied, and maybe someday I'll do a proper, like, almost like a mini documentary covering everything from start to finish when it comes to this game. But as of right now, as of the day of this video being posted, we are now 43 days away from the XDefiant servers shutting down forever. So definitely expect some more XDefiant videos as we get closer to that shutdown date, because it's going to be really interesting to see all the fans go back and try to play the game one more time before it's gone forever. And speaking of that, one of the reasons why XDefiant was shut down, because the circumstances surrounding it were always kind of shrouded in mystery. It didn't really make a lot of sense, like why they pulled the plug so early, especially when it was doing pretty well relative to the other Ubisoft games. Well, we just got this from Tom Henderson a couple of days ago. Exclusive. Ubisoft is developing a new battle royale heavily inspired by Apex Legends. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the many reasons why they shut down XDefiant, because they believe that another battle royale at this day and age is going to be like the new thing. It's going to save Ubisoft. They're going to start making money hand over fist and everything. As compared to just letting XDefiant develop, they decided, you know what, we're going to gamble on another battle royale, and we're basically just going to copy and paste Apex Legends, which is freaking crazy. So what I wanted to do here today is kind of just take a look at this article here. I'm going to put the Insider Gaming logo up on the screen when I'm reading straight from the article itself. But here we read, coming from Tom Henderson, the game, which is currently under the project name Scout, is so heavily inspired by Respawn Entertainment's highly successful Apex Legends that it was once used as the thumbnail for the project. It's understood that the game has been in development for at least a couple of years and will feature very similar characters to Apex Legends, including a spin on Pathfinder, Wraith, Lifeline, and other characters from the game. One source said of the project, "I think the goal is to capitalize on the player count of Apex dropping, and them, being the Ubisoft higher-ups, thinking there's room in the market for another hero battle royale." So that's pretty interesting, actually, because I've heard this through the grapevine, just random people online talking about it and whatnot, and I never really looked too much into it, but is Apex Legends dying? Like, I remember the game came out, it took the world by storm, it grew and grew and grew. For me personally, I just checked on Steam. I haven't played the game in over 4 years, but looking at Steam charts, it doesn't look like there's anything inherently wrong with Apex Legends. In fact, Apex Legends, as of right now, is doing better than Call of Duty on Steam. Of course, Steam is just one platform, doesn't show the entire story, but if it's doing this well on Steam, I imagine it's doing just fine on console and everything like that. So that's interesting that they think Apex Legends is like super dying. Maybe you guys have more insight on that than I do, and you can let me know down there in the comments, kind of fill me in on that. But when I hear that Ubisoft has reportedly been working on this Apex Legends clone for a couple of years now, that's a bit surprising to me, because you would think that if they're canceling XDefiant and they're going to be working on a battle royale, you would think a lot of the XDefiant people will be working on this project as well. But if it's been in development for a couple of years, like, it doesn't seem like there's going to be a whole lot of crossover there, unless potentially there has been a lot of crossover. What if that's one of the reasons why XDefiant had such a hard time developing? Is it possible that's because they were working on that battle royale as well as XDefiant at the same time? They decided XDefiant was more ready, so they pushed that out first. Tom Henderson did say in his article that they've worked on something close to like 15 different battle royales that have been scrapped over there at Ubisoft. Apparently in 2020, I didn't even hear about this, but they put out a game called Hyperscape, a different battle royale, and they pulled the plug on that 18 months after release, which is 3 times as long as they waited to pull the plug on XDefiant. Like, it seems like they're pushing out these like games that just aren't quite ready, and if those half-baked games are not just taking the world by storm, they pull the plug, as compared to actually paying people to develop the game, giving people time to develop the game, giving them proper resources and marketing to make sure people actually have their eyeballs on the game. Like, Activision's terrible, don't get me wrong, but Ubisoft seems to just be making like all the wrong moves at every single turn. And when I think about the possibility of XDefiant being shut down because these morons want to copy Apex Legends because they think, man, Battle Royale is still the future when it's freaking 2025 here, man. Like, people are burnt out on Battle Royale in general. Verdansk is doing good for COD, don't get me wrong. Fortnite is still going to be popular, obviously, but like new Battle Royales coming out, like who's really looking for that at this day and age anymore? In my own personal opinion, and feel free to disagree, leave your thoughts down there in the comments, but I feel like a lot more people would be excited about an old school Call of Duty clone as compared to yet another Battle Royale game from a terrible publisher. I mean, XDefiant, again, fast-paced arcade action with these amazing guns, amazing maps, freaking beautiful maps. Like, the gunplay was so good, the character abilities were interesting, just everything about the game felt so good once you got used to it. There was a bit of a barrier there for some people when they first started playing because the game does not have nearly as much aim assist as a game like COD, so it feels weird when you first start playing. It takes a couple of matches to kind of get into the swing of things, but once you did, man, it took me back to the old days of COD, even though it's not COD, it's XDefiant for crying out loud. But being able to run around on these maps and just use whatever gun I wanted, whatever setup I wanted, have the other people on the other team not be there because of skill-based matchmaking, but rather they were just there based on connection, and the lobbies felt organic, and just, it was amazing. Like, to be able to experience that at this day and age was freaking incredible. And admittedly, the Ubisoft team was very behind, and I'm not going to try to deny that that was not one of the reasons why the game died. I mean, I tried my best to help out XDefiant as much as I possibly could. I had a creator code in the shop for crying out loud. I made tons of videos on the game, close to 70 or so dedicated XDefiant videos on a Call of Duty channel. I mean, that's taking a risk, you know, when you switch up your content like that, you're definitely taking a risk, but that's how much I believed in XDefiant. I know a bunch of other creators were doing the exact same thing, and just the other day I saw on Twitter somebody blaming Blame Truth, as well as myself and basically every other content creator. We're the reason that XDefiant died because we didn't cover the game nearly enough. It's like, dude, what more do you want from me? Like, 70 videos on a game that gets an update every 2 to 3 months. Like, I did my best with the game. I truly did. Like, I put so many hours into the game. If I look at the stats, I'm in the top like 5% in the world for like every conceivable thing. I streamed it for hours and hours and hours. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we as content creators cannot carry a game to success. If we could, XDefiant would still be around, but look how that turned out. But just reading through Tom Henderson's article there, it blows my mind that a company like Ubisoft was even able to get to this point in the first place. Like, with how many terrible decisions that they're making, I don't understand how they ever became popular or notable in the first place. Was like the original Assassin's Creed games like that good or something like that people just kept buying their games whenever something would come out? Because it seems like as of late they just keep making one horrible decision after another, and normally that's not even that big of news to me when it comes to things happening in the games industry and everything, but XDefiant definitely hit pretty close to home because that was a game made by former COD developers, people that actually gave a shit about the video game scene, people that had a passion for making a fun, organic, enjoyable video game, and they got the shaft. And then we come to find that one of the reasons why they probably cut XDefiant so early was because they believe in this upcoming hero shooter battle royale thing that's going to be copying Apex Legends, but it's from Ubisoft, so it's going to tank, it's going to get dogged, it's going to be canceled faster than XDefiant. Just mark my words here, ladies and gentlemen, if the game ever even sees the light of day. Just what is going on with that company? Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for this video here today. Just kind of like a short little news update video, as well as a bit of a rant, because I just want to get that off my chest when it comes to that, because XDefiant is still a game that I love. I talked with a bunch of the developers and gave my feedback and everything, and they were very receptive to that feedback. Like, XDefiant had so much going for it, but unfortunately the suits at the top that don't even play video games decided to pull the plug before the game even properly got off the ground. So guys, that's it for this video here today. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. Be sure to check out Tom's article down there in the description as well. Thank you so much for listening and for your continued support of my channel, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.